So this story time is an accumulation of many different experiences I had over the years. And these experiences really made me the woman I am today and started as far back as primary school. Um, One of the most valuable lessons my dad taught my sisters and I growing up was he used to say, if there's one thing I am sure of, it's that we are all supposed to live a life of service. He used to say, there is no ways God meant for us to live for ourselves and yet birthed us into communities, into families, into this world where we are all together. Just to take it a step further, because after he passed away, I made it a point to, you know, meditate on the time we spent together and think of some of the lessons he taught us. And for me, one of the most important things has been how to honor him, even after he's gone. And I was thinking of that particular lesson the one day, and I thought there was so much power behind what he said. It is so profound because if you think about it, this Lord that we serve, the God we serve, said, let there be light, and there was light. He didn't have to go and conjure things up and put together ceremonies and try and no. All he had to say was, let there be light, and there was light. That's how powerful he is. And so if he intended for us as human beings to live a life of service to ourselves and only to ourselves, surely he then would have given us our own worlds. He would have given you an earth, and you, and you, and you, and you, and I an earth, and we would have lived on it by ourselves. But he didn't. He, again, brought us into communities, into families. We spend our lives interacting, developing friendships, intimate relationships, relationships at work. We meet people when we are traveling, when we're going to restaurants, when we're going shopping, everywhere. We are constantly meeting people. And that got me thinking of my body love journey and my self-love journey and how that ties into what I have been saying from the get-go and what I learned very early on when I decided to be about my body love journey, because it is a choice. One of the first things I pinpointed was the importance of the people I surround myself with. And I've heard so many people say it's called self-esteem for a reason. It's not about anybody else. So this, that, and the other. But yes, although that may be true, there's no getting away or around the fact that we are all influenced by the people around us. Whether you like it or not, we are all in some way influenced by the people around us, whether it be people we work with, our friends, our families, our significant others. They play a role in our lives as God meant them to. And so going back to this idea of the people you surround yourself with, one of the things I picked up on, and one of the things that was just abundantly clear to me from the get, was that the people I surrounded myself with contributed. They weren't the sole reason or cause, but contributed to the way I felt about myself. And when I say that, I mean my poor body image. As far back as I can remember, I remember little things, like in primary school, when we were sitting on a school bus and these guys were like, these boys said something like, if you're fat, raise your hand. And obviously, I mean, at that age, you're so like, and so aware of your weight, which is so sad and crazy to think of. And I didn't, like, I just didn't even want a part of that conversation. And I remember the one saying, Lala, raise your hand, you're so fat. And they all burst out laughing on the school bus. I remember things as far back as my first boyfriend and how the one night he called me on the phone, and it's those, childish high school first year relationships. That was like my first boyfriend, and I remember he was on the phone with me, and his friend made a comment. He was typing something, and I asked him, what are you saying? And he was like, E, and I'm like, E, and he was like, yes, E for elephant. Elephant, get it? You're fat, elephant. And they both burst out laughing. I remember such, in retrospect, trivial moments that added up to me having such a poor body image. I remember girls teasing me, especially when their boyfriends liked me, and it turned into, there was a particular girl I'm thinking about, no name dropping, but her boyfriend liked me at the time, and she went out of her way to make me feel bad about my weight. I remember not wanting to play sports, not wanting to do this, not wanting to do that. And this isn't a woe is me thing. What I'm trying to do is point out how an accumulation of those experiences contributed to how I felt about myself. And when I made the decision that I don't want to feel this way forever, I don't want to continue feeling this way, I want to walk around with pride in my body. I'd seen so many plus size women online, plus size models who were living their best lives, who were successful, who were out there doing the most. And I'm like, I want to be that person. I'm not necessarily a model, but I want to be that confident and so into my career and in my space. And so one of the first things I looked at were the people I surrounded myself with. And I realized that it was a combination of friends who either fat shamed me or allowed me to fat shame myself in their presence. We'll come back to that. I was surrounded by family members who were constantly fat shaming me. We'll come back to that. I was surrounded by people, even in the workspace when I got a job, who were so aware of my weight and reminded me of it. I was in relationships where guys made me feel almost like I should be grateful because I'm the fat girl they chose. And all of those experiences contributed to me just not feeling good about myself, constantly walking around with this self-doubt and this anxiety and this feeling of, if anybody gives me attention or is good to me, I must hold on to that and I must be grateful for it because I don't deserve it. I'm fat. I'm not of this world. My body defines me. It makes me unworthy. It makes me not enough. It makes me lazy. It makes me shameless. It makes me shameful. It makes me all these things that people equate to being a big woman or big person. And I've had this question so many times, going back to the family thing, where people have said to me, then how do you address it? Listen, when I decided to be about my body love journey, I had no room or time to play. I was fighting for my mental health. And I never took any, let me go around this corner and tiptoe about it. No. These people had made me feel bad for long enough. And so now this was my opportunity to let them know that I'm not taking it anymore. I'm just not going to. So when it came to family members, I had open and honest conversations. When I went to family lunches and anybody had anything to say about my body, I used to say to them, please, please don't talk to me about my body. It's my body and I don't want to feel bad about it. I've felt bad about it for long enough. So whatever you've got to say, please keep it to yourself. I don't want to feel this way. And when that didn't work, I stopped going to family functions. And I made my dad explain why I was no longer going to family functions. It was as simple as that. She's not here because she doesn't feel that the family is very nice to her. Simple. I remember one day my dad commented on my body, and again, it was a generational thing because their generation were raised thinking it was appropriate and it was okay. And he said something, and I outright said to him, Dad, I'm your daughter. I'm supposed to learn love from you. So when you talk to me like that, it makes me question myself. It makes me feel like I'm not worth being loved. And it makes me feel like I'm a disappointment. And it doesn't make me feel good. So please don't comment on my weight, because if there's anybody who's aware of how I look, it's me. I see myself every day. And he stopped. In fact, it broke his heart. It broke his heart because he was just not aware that his baby girl felt this way. And the last thing he wanted was to make me feel bad. Of course he didn't. He was my dad. He loved me. He adored me. And so that's my answer to the question. Even with friends, you need to have an open and honest conversation about your body love journey and let your friends know and understand that I'm moving differently now. I do not want negativity in my space. And if you're my friend, because the word friend is such a loaded and heavy word, if you are my friend, you will respect that. And instead of feeding me with negativity and killing my spirit and my soul, you will speak life into me and be more positive. I didn't have time to tiptoe, guys. I didn't have time. I did not have time. I was like, nope, 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 nope. All these people who've contributed to making me feel the way I do while I'm dealing with my own inner voice, my own inner demon, I'm going to let them know that no more. And if you cannot honor and respect that, I've got to go. This is the last time you'll be speaking to me. And believe it or not, people receive the message loud and clear, and they respected and honored it. When I go to family lunches, people don't speak about my body like that. They don't. In fact, I feel like low-key in my family, I'm like the body positivity queen. And when I walk in, I've even heard my cousins say it, like my female cousins. When somebody shames them, they'll be like, don't come to me with that. There's no room for that anymore. We're not about that here. And I'm like, yes, mommy, yes, speak like that. Even my older sister, she gets a lot of her body positivity and love from the things I've taught her. And she's my older sister, and yet I taught her those lessons. So again, be purposeful. This doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. So let me counteract that by saying that it's just as equally important that you not only check the people who are bringing negativity into your space, but you honor and you respect and you love the people who are treating you well. Another lesson my dad taught me was, it's not enough to tell somebody you love them. You have to show them. You have to show them. I remember when he passed away, I gave a speech at his memorial service. This was back in 2019. Actually, really wasn't a speech. It was a love letter. I didn't want to do anything that was like a goodbye, or I did a love letter. And one of the things I said to him was, thank you. Thank you for teaching me how to love. Thank you, because you may have passed at a time where you're going to miss very significant things in our lives, like us having kids, getting married, our careers completely taking off, and this, that, and the other. But you poured enough love into me that will last me a lifetime. And I remember I said, even if I never find my true love, I will forever and always be grateful that you taught me and you helped me see what love feels like. There's some people who never get that from their family members, never get that from their parents, and then they move on and they never really find a significant other. They never really fall in love. He gave that to me. And so I have now made a decision to be purposeful about the people who are in my life that I love and how I treat them. I've made it a point. I've made a decision that I am going to show them how much I love them. Whether it be those texts just to say how much I love them, whether it be checking up on them, whether it be speaking life into their businesses and their goals, whether it be putting them on. If there's something that I know they can be about, or there's something I know, I'm in a room and I hear somebody saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody who this and this. Oh, I've got a person. It be showing up when it means the most to them. I'm going to make them feel loved. And so the other side of the coin being disconnecting from people who mess around with or hinder your body love and your self-love journey It's respecting and drawing closer to the people who, and honoring the people who love you and speak you up, uplift you. I say all of that to say this. The people you surround yourself with, do not, for a moment in time, underestimate the influence they have in your life. Yes, it may be called self-esteem, self-love, but the people you surround yourself with have an influence over that. Again, we were not birthed into this world. We were not born into families and communities and countries and continents and into certain, and then grew up and then moved into certain workspaces and into schools and this and that and made all these relationships and friendships for us to live alone. There's a reason why there's so many of us on earth. There's a reason why we're constantly engaging and interacting with different people on a daily basis. And all I'm trying to say to you is make sure those people you interact with, those people you allow into your space, are people who are influencing you positively, are people who you could sit with any day of the week and know that your energy, that your spirit, that your soul, that your mind, your mentality, your mental health are protected. That's all I got to say about that. For those of you asking, one of the things or one of the tools I use in boosting, one of the tips for boosting your self-esteem, this is one of them. Be very, 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 very aware of the people you surround yourself with. People who cannot contribute positivity and light and life, they've got to go. Simple.